Okay. We got the role of independent media today. Dr. Taje, Dr. Naima, double call. Let's see how this works. Tulsa, let's rock and roll, man. We got a big topic. We ain't gonna have y'all too long. But we got a D. What up, baby? How we doing? Coach Green, how we doing? You already know what it is. Who's that? Remo, I'm gonna get at you. I know you a busy man. Just, what we doing with these hats, man? I need you. I thought I sent you a video, man. I need you out here with your crown, baby. I need you with your crown. Talk to me. Everything's shaking and moving. Let me let the listeners know. Today we talking about the effect of media on our black and brown community. We got Dr. Taje, we got Dr. Naima. One wants to represent, or not want to, but will be representing the women. One will be representing the men. So we're gonna do the double call. So I'm gonna see how that works. Taje, I see you. Let me type in what we're doing right now. Dr. Taje, Dr. Naima, and then I'm plugging you in, Charles. Thanks for taking out the time. You know what I mean? And I'm watching out for you, Dr. Naima, to get y'all into the split screen. Okay? So let's see how that works. I'm gonna put that in, and we're gonna put the pin in, and we good to go. Okay, we pinned the comment so you know what it is. Dolo, what up? Tulsa, what up? Let's get to it. Okay, I got 2 requests. Okay, here we go. Let me accept one. And let me accept the other. Let's get to it. Okay. Charles, what up, babe?
Hey, what up, bro?
How
You hear me?
How we doing?
Oh, man, I'm good, bro. Blessed. How y'all doing?
All right, here we go. We got the split screen. This is my first split screen. Okay.
All right.
Dr. Naima, how you doing?
You can see me?
I can see you. We can hear you, too.
Hey.
Todd, you can hear her?
Yeah, I can hear. Yep.
All right. So, Dr. Taje, Dr. Naima, I want to take the time to introduce you two to black and brown, amazing brothers and sisters making it happen.
Hey.
Appreciate
What's
y'all
up?
taking the time. It's the West Coast. It's the West Coast. We got the West Coast and the East Coast. Okay? That's what we doing.
How are you doing, Dr. Josh?
I'm good. How are you this evening?
I am blessed. I'm excited. I'm sleepy, but I'm blessed. Thank you.
That's the life, though. That's the life.
It is.
Oh, yeah. I know.
That's the work, right? That's the work y'all chose, right?
Yeah. I'm
Oh, yeah.
honored.
So I'm gonna just give a quick synopsis of how we're gonna engage this conversation in the audience. So as you know, We Talking Magazine tells a hip hop point of view. We wanted to talk about the role of independent media. Obviously, you two, we're going to talk about, have 2 independent media platforms, and we want to kind of see how your platforms affect, our black and brown community. You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to talk about pretty much specifically, and then discuss how, Taj, you representing the men, or the male, and Dr. Naima, you representing the woman. We'll get into that, how media affects our thought process based on your clients, based on what you've observed. All right?
Okay.
All right?
Yes, sir.
So, ladies first, Dr. Naima, talk to us about your independent media platform. I know it's really a organization for the health of our community, but you also have a media component. So let's talk about that.
I'm going to be honest with you. Because of how social media affects me, I have strayed away from being exposed to social media. You really have to go your mind, body, spirit, and soul. And when I come on social media, I see things that are not fruitful. It really takes away. So I try not to be on social media much, but I do try to come on and give of myself and give what is dropped in my spirit to give. as far as my clients, they are experiencing anxiety, body dysmorphia, and those are the issues that they are bringing to therapy, not feeling good about themselves. They don't have eyelashes on, if they don't have hair, if their bodies aren't a certain, they don't feel like they're beautiful. And about young girls.
Wow. And I know you're going in and out, Dr. Naima, but when you say young, what do you mean? How young? Give me an age range.
13, 14.
Wow. And so Giving Hope, what's the I know you have a podcast for Giving Hope, or you're starting one. What's that about mainly?
It's about everything. It is about, I'm just going to move to an area where I know I have good service.
Yeah, it sounds better automatically.
Thanks.
We're just keeping it real here, Dr. Charles. We just keeping it.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't even worry about it. I know.
So it's about being real. Right now we're going into an eight segment personal empowerment development, on everything about building up yourself. So
Wow.
rolling out in the next couple of weeks, and
Okay.
we just finished up the first 5 segments.
Congratulations on that. Dr. Charles, I want to get into you. So healing is gangster. Naima, did you know that?
No.
Healing is gangster?
It's like it takes a strong person.
Oh yeah,
There you
absolutely.
go. Dr. Charles, talk to me about healing is gangster. Congratulations on that platform.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Healing is gangster is a play on a word that gets very misunderstood sometimes outside of our culture. Uh, Obviously, when people hear gangster, there's some stereotypical meaning behind that, and historical meaning behind that. As we often do in our culture, we'll take words and kind of make them our own. Some,
Absolutely.
where they mean like different things. And in this instance, gangster means, like it's gangster to take care of your responsibilities. Is gangster to, to be a man about yours, or a woman about yours, or a king or queen about yours. So healing is no different. Healing is gangster because, one of the hardest things and most gangster things to do is to confront yourself, in all your insecurities and all the, maladaptive ways that you've been kind of dealing with your trauma, your own trauma. You know what I mean? It's real easy for us to kind of focus on everybody else and kind of, detach a little bit from ourselves. It's easy to do that, and gangster is just, like I said, confronting yourself. And if you can do that, you can pretty much accomplish anything in life. I mean, that's my opinion.
So I'm gonna ask this question because obviously you two decided to do this on your own, right? You decided to create a visual platform. Healing is Gangster. Dr. Naima, you decided to make a 8-part series for the self and the healing of self. So what was your, I would say, prototype? What did two, I would say, intelligent Black men and women, what did you look to as an example for this? Did you have any examples? Do you remember any as a child that would help you do this? What was the inspiration?
I will say, starting with my ancestors, I will say my dad instilled in me where I came from. He, and understanding my history, understanding the fight, understanding slavery, understanding the resilience of Harriet Tubman, and taking me to the Black History museums and making me read and watch movies on our history, and just what was put in my spirit and what was spoken to me, and being covered and being set apart from my friends, and being uncomfortable in situations and settings where other people was comfortable. I couldn't do things that other people could do and just be comfortable. I couldn't be in certain settings for too long and be comfortable. And watching my mother just go hard. I just watched, I paid attention. And in terms of personal development, um, being raised by a single mother and understanding the hurt that a young woman experiences, and the love, understanding psychology, going through the courses, um, going to school to become a psychologist was healing for me.
Wow.
I
Wow.
got certified in grief counseling because of healing through my grandmother's death. Um, and so in my healing, I'm able to help other people. But understanding my hurt and who I was and my brokenness, and still to this day, certain things will hurt. And I will have to really look at it, understand it, and own it and work through it. Not overlook it, but work through it, understand it so that I can help somebody else. So it's really my ancestors, watching my mother, and understanding my own pain and what I had to work through for myself.
Dr. Todd, what was your example to make something like Healing is Gangster?
I mean, it was many of the things that the doctor expounded upon. My ancestor clearly, also being of mixed descent, being Spanish and African as well. I had a lot of that going on, but really I got to look towards my first therapeutic experience. I got involved in some troublesome things when I was younger, and there was a need for my mom actually tried putting me in therapy. And at the time it didn't take, I was going, but the seed was planted in my mind, which sprouted years later, which is kind of an example that I use now when I'm working with, especially with like the youth and things like that. But as far as like examples, I can't really think of an example of what's going on. Unfortunately I don't meet many other psychologists, that obviously there's other Black and brown psychologists clearly, but I'm saying as far as like, I came, like, I'm directly from the street. I was blessed enough to like survive a lot of those traps, which a lot of my counterparts, either they're resting right now or they're in jail. So it's rare, from what I've seen through my education and kind of going through the levels of the degrees, to get people that were actually in jail, that were actually, in the gang culture and in the drug culture and doing these things. So it's hard for me sometimes to kind of look at a blueprint for this. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it is kind of like what the doctor was saying, is kind of feeling our own struggle, kind of trying to maneuver, trying to find a way to deal with this pain that affects us both physically and mentally from the time that we're born. It affects our attachment patterns, how we think, how we learn, how we live our life, all the way to biological things like hypertension and, all these different things that go on with us. So, and really, it was just really about me changing my life and helping others to change theirs, if I could. So that was kind of like my motivation at the time. For going to school.
What's interesting now is, if I, let's say right when I was growing up, right, and I needed, let's say about maybe 30 years ago, I needed a visual platform to look at, that I can identify with doing the right thing, positive actions, making mistakes, and regrouping from that. I have to say, I don't remember anything that I could look to, right? Even if it was on, the weekend or late at night, I don't remember anything I could look to, right? Even from a writing platform, I didn't have anything I could look to, read stories about that. So that's how important, Naeema, your series is, and Healing is Gangster is, that given the right seeds, right? If you put that seed out, there are children, there are teens, there are women, there are young women, young men, or even older women, older men that can look to that right now. They can go to get that, look at it, and see how it helps. So with that, before we even go any further, what other platforms? How would they get to see that right now? They wanted to see an example of what you were doing. Take to it, Naima. How would they get to that right now?
I'm just taking that comment in, like just thinking about that. I'm honored. You can go to www.givinghopellc.org. We have also developed our own social platform. It's a social community, social.givinghopellc.org, and you will have to subscribe. The subscriptions are free. However, there are different levels.
Wow,
I'm honored.
that's heavy. That's heavy. Taj, how can they get to you and see what you're doing?
Well, I want to congratulate the doctor on that. That's a great movement she got going on there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. You could catch me obviously on Dame Dash Studios. You can go subscribe there. We're on Fox Soul now, so if you have a chance to catch Fox Soul, you'll catch some of the episodes on there. You can also go to YouTube, Healing is Gangster on YouTube, and just you can catch season 1 and season 2 there. You know,
Okay.
and on Instagram, the social media. I limit myself with social media as well. So, but you can definitely find me here on Instagram, Taje310 or at Healing is Gangster Official.
Perfect. So, Dr. Taj, I'm gonna just jump in this real quick. Are you going to therapy right now? Do you have a psychologist or psychiatrist you go to?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
actually, that became part of my little program in school. Actually, they make you go to therapy. That was my master's is in marriage and family therapy, which I got before before the clinical psychology doctorate. But especially in the marriage and family therapy, that was the first time that they actually like made me go to therapy. Like,
Wow.
because they wanted me to feel the experience of being on both sides of that coin. And with the pressures of school and the pressures of being black, and brown and Native American, I'm a triple mix here. So
Triple threat. You're a triple threat
yeah,
out here.
yeah. So, but just the pressures of being that in school and not really like seeing much of our own, and dealing with some of the pressures that come with that. I needed therapy.
Wow.
I was having an identity crisis myself, during a lot of my schooling because of the, I was right out the street when I went to school. So a lot of those thoughts and those, that way of seeing the world, I was still seeing things in that way. And I'm still dealing with that now, but at that time I needed therapy. So it was really good for me. And it's something that I've continued, and I feel like it's a good example for my clients to follow. I'm also in therapy too. So it's not like I'm telling people to do things that I'm not doing myself.
Wow. Dr. Naima, are you still in therapy as well?
I have not been to therapy in maybe a year, but I do the same thing. We were made to go to therapy. And I do have a therapist that I do need to get back in touch with. So thank you for asking me this question.
Yeah,
And
we
it
blowing
has
you up. We
been,
are blowing you up on
no,
We
you're not
Talking
blowing me
Magazine Hip
up.
Hop point of view. We
Listen,
blowing
I'm
it up.
all the way
It's on
transparent,
camera.
and I am
We're
not
gonna hold you to
embarrassed
it.
at all. I am not embarrassed. I definitely I want my life to be an open book. I want people to be, I need to get some tissue because you got me over here emotional.
That was
Uh
Dr. Taj. That was Dr.
uh
Taj and the triple threat and the ancestors. The ancestors,
yes.
the Indian,
Um
the black and brown, they got a bone.
Yeah, they done tore my DNA all up.
yes. But yes, and honestly my therapist is Jewish, and I connect with her so well. She is really, really amazing. And I do need to reconnect with her. It was actually dropped in my spirit to reach out to her on Sunday. So thank you for the confirmation. Dr.
Wow.
Taj, I want to put you in touch with my friend Grover Rollins. He is out of Texas, and he's a psychologist, and he comes to Cali often. So you guys
Okay.
you definitely have a similar background. I want y'all to connect with each other.
Yeah, that'd be a pleasure. And
Absolutely.
just to speak on the therapeutic side, because there's things that there's times I should say where I've fallen out of therapy as well.
Mm.
But just so people know, our job is not to have you in therapy your whole life. Really, a lot of like a lot of therapists will extend certain things, for financial gain and things like that, which is whatever. I don't knock nobody hustle, but essentially, therapeutically, we're supposed to help enable the client to do these things on their own.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And and me being a client as well, that is that's also the goal. The goal is not to keep our clients in therapy for life. Just
That's
so
so
people are
interesting.
clear on that. You know what I mean? Now, if you're comfortable and it helps you through life,
Mm-hmm.
and because a lot of people, they get the connection through therapy and different reasons. So if it helps you, then fine. But there's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, I'm kind of ready to do this on my own now." That's what we want,
Well, I
essentially.
never heard it that way. I never heard it
Yeah.
that way. You always see it as because there's a big push for mental health, particularly in hip hop right now, particularly with the Black and Brown community. It doesn't talk about how to heal you and understand how you can heal yourself, right? It's more
Right.
of you need it, you need to be on it. This is what you need. So that's a good way to explain it. That it's not forever. You don't need to be there all the time, and that
Yeah.
helps.
Well, a
Yeah.
So
therapist
now,
is not going to heal you. That's not what they're there for. They're supposed to empower you and guide you to your own healing.
Right.
mm, mm,
Exactly.
mm.
Absolutely.
Oh wow, is that a T-shirt, Dr. Naima? Is that okay? That
Or
sounds
because
amazing.
we don't want people's lives depending on us.
Mm,
You understand
mm,
what I'm saying? We want
mm,
people to be able to depend on themselves. Now,
mm,
having a good support system is great. That's one of the keys to getting to where you want to be, mentally, or if you're dealing with the issue you're trying to overcome. A good support system is one of the best things you can have. But like she said as well, we want you to, be able to heal yourself, and be able to look within yourself for these things, and then that way you can, help somebody else as well if you can
mm.
do that. So, yeah.
So, so I want to talk about media and the effects of media. Primarily, you mentioned, both of you mentioned that you kind of wean yourself off, social media. You don't not really on it that much. So, and I think you're saying that because it helps you do what? That was the what? Why do you wean yourself off it? Because did you notice something prior, and now you've used the weaning off, and you've seen a difference? What is the real goal of that, and why do you say that with such assertion? We wean ourselves. We're not on it that much.
I like being disconnected.
Mhm.
First and foremost, I um also like to be focused. I get a lot of stuff done when I unplug. I have
Mhm.
TV in my home, and
Mm.
I just think that multiple devices pull families apart. That's just my opinion.
Mm.
So being on social media, allowing my son to, be in one room and me in another room, I just think that it just pulls us apart, and it adds division in our family. Although I do work a lot, so it's just one way for me to not get lured in, because I can go on Instagram and spend 3 hours doing nothing
Like that.
when I
Agree.
could have written 3 reports.
Now
So,
you backed
Yeah.
up.
Real,
Now you backed up
real.
3 reports.
yes. So then I also will see things that will, drop little negative things in my spirit, like, well, maybe just thoughts that will come
Mhm.
from social media. Maybe my hair needs to be longer, or maybe just thoughts that could come from social media, or maybe I need to be doing more of this. No, you need to be focused on what you're doing, Naeem, because this is your lane.
Mhm.
You don't have to compare yourself to anybody but who you were yesterday. Period. This is your lane. This is where you're going, and you just stay on your path.
I remember Dr. Taj talking to me about hair issues. He was social media made him want to have hair. Is that what you were telling me, Dr. Taj? When you were
Yeah, yeah. No, I already did the hair thing. That's long gone. But yeah. Nah, but kind of to add on to what she's saying. I mean, I limit myself on social media for similar reasons. First of all, the worst thing you can do is compare your life to somebody else's.
Mm,
Uh,
mm,
that's a fact. Because everybody has their own perfect storms that make whatever they're doing do what it do.
mm-hmm,
But I think even more than that, for me personally, is I think that most healers or most people that engage in this profession are empaths to some
mm,
extent,
mm.
and it's a lot of bad energy on the internet.
Oh wow, that was deep.
Stuff that
Hold
I
on,
may
hold on.
not want
I want to stop you right there.
to.
Explain what you said, because that was real heavy. What do you mean by that, empaths? Explain that and what you mean.
Meaning, a lot of us are sensitive to energy.
Mm,
There's something that they teach us clinically, and even in, like I said, in the marriage and family, therapy realm, is how to deal with transference or
mm,
counter transference and things like that.
mm.
That can happen when you're watching social media.
Wow.
And that can affect your whole mood of your day sometimes.
Mm,
You see something that just kind of puts you in a bad mood, or you see something that, something dumb that somebody said, or just any of that. Sometimes I got to just unplug from the matrix and
mm.
kind of, enjoy the world a little bit, which I encourage, a lot of people to do. I mean, I think social media has its advantages. Obviously, we're able to transmit information faster than ever.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen whole political movements begin on social media, so there's advantages, but I think mostly the way it's used now has been almost to our detriment, uh, personally speaking, meaning as people and how we feel about ourselves,
Right.
our self-esteem, uh, because social media programs, not just how you feel, but how you look at the rest of the world and how you intake information.
Right.
Yeah.
And, that's not
Wow.
always good.
So the question becomes, is this something you recommend to your clients? Do you recommend clients, obviously parents, children, to detach for a minute, and we'll discuss how that affects you? Is that something you recommend?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, yeah. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut
no,
you
and,
off.
and do you recommend it because you see the effect of the transference?
I
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I keep cutting you off.
I recommend it because I recommend people to figure out who they are outside of social media and outside of comparing themselves to anybody. Period.
Mm,
It's rare for people my age to know who they are.
mm,
Um, and for people older than me to know who they are, let alone a child or a teenager to know who they are when they're comparing themselves, especially when they're on social media. So I definitely recommend that they are off social media. I recommend that parents don't get their children cell phones until their children can pay their own cell phone bill, 16, 17. That's my opinion.
mm.
I'm being honest.
So Dr. Naima, you have the 10 parent commandments, right? It's like you have a command. That's a track, Dr. Todd. We got a track coming out right here. The
Yeah.
10 Dr. Naima commandments.
Hey, you go ahead and get the beat up.
Get the beat up.
One.
One.
Right.
Dr. Todd, and do you recommend it as well?
I do. I do recommend it. I mean, I look at it like this: not just with social media, but anything.
Mm-hmm.
If it's maladaptive to your life,
Mm,
then you need to cut back on it or get
mm,
rid of it.
mm,
Period. That's
Dr.
anything.
Taj, what is maladaptive?
Meaning that it has a bad effect on your life, and it affects you. It affects you negatively day to day. It could affect you going to work. It could affect how you are with your kids, how you are with yourself. You have bad coping mechanisms, which means bad ways of dealing with your problems. does that add on to those bad ways of dealing with your problems? You know, things like that. That's normally when, because I judge every case individually. You know, if people are able to be on the internet the way they are and function positively and they're happy and, you know, then that's not a problem.
Okay.
It becomes a problem, like I said, when it starts affecting your life negatively. Like you said, like you're not getting your work done because you're on the internet. You feel bad about yourself because of what you're seeing on the internet. You're not communicating with your family because of what's, you know, because of stuff on social media. You know, you've isolated yourself because of social media. You know, things like that. When I start seeing those things, then that's definitely when I would, you know, advise that. But just as a whole, like the doctor said, I am a big proponent of balance. You know, there should be a healthy amount of time spent away from it as much as it is on it. You know, especially if you're not making money on there. You know what I mean? If it's not, you know, if it's not part of your workspace and, you know, you're not monetizing it and it's just causing you problems, then obviously there needs to be a change there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you know, I got one more question, and then we're gonna, you know, I'm so kind of, I would say I'm overwhelmed with kind of like what we covered, right? We covered, you know, what inspired you guys to create your platforms, you know, the how to get to your platforms, sort of like your to-dos, your do's and don'ts with clients that help from a media perspective. So that was the goal. We wanted to talk about some solutions. We wanted to talk about some little things that, you know, people can come away with this and help themselves and try, you know, just very simple things, you know. So I think we got that. Now, just in terms of both of your developments as children, do you remember what media you guys took to, or what media you guys were very inclined to go visit, or what shaped you? What media shaped you? Naima, do you remember?
Gospel music and Word Up magazine.
Right.
I
Okay.
had like 5 CDs and a radio, a boom box.
And how did it? Can you now evaluate psychologically yourself and say how it helped you or how it shaped you?
I grew up in the country in North Carolina. I was a visionaire. I am a visionaire. I jumped creeks and climbed trees, and I had a few posters on my wall, and they were of these superstars, and I envisioned myself being big in New York City. I envisioned myself being here, walking the streets in New York City. I listened to the music, but the gospel music instilled morals and values and love in my heart. The hip hop and the Word Up magazine instilled swag.
Okay.
Gave me some
Wow.
swag.
So that's what Dr. Charles was talking about with this with the balance. With the
Yes.
balance right there. Okay. Dr. Charles, and you, what were you, you know, as you was running the streets, you know, what type of media, what type of time was you on?
Oh man, you know, I was on my music stuff, you know, music and television. Television afforded me a way of like escaping my reality. You know, I was always into the arts, whether it was acting or, you know, rapping or, you know, just music or whatever. You know, television allowed me to envision myself as those characters I was watching, and provided me some escape from a reality that, you know, I was in pain. And sometimes I didn't even know I was in pain, you know, so it provided me an escape. Music was like therapy. You know, I always say that my first therapist was hip hop, was Tupac.
Wow.
You know, listening to people like him or Ice Cube. You know, with fast forward now, people even now like Nip, rest in peace. You know, you know, I knew these people as well. So you know, you know, they definitely helped me through a lot. You know, just listening to that and having people that you could actually relate to, when they were rapping those things, because I was living those things.
Mm.
So a lot of the music helped me process, whatever trauma I was going through at the time, which is what I do as a clinician. I help people to process things.
Mm.
So, yeah, definitely music, but it was more than rap, like I said, it was rap music. I also listen to things like Sade was here for me a lot, through some things,
The sweetest
know,
taboo. The sweetest
yeah,
taboo. Let me find
all
out
that,
the sweetest taboo.
all that. Anita Baker, Marvin, dude, the list goes on. Bob,
Okay, that's
what I
right.
mean? Sprinkle some Nirvana up in there,
Mm. Wow.
But
That's
yeah,
not bad.
it's music, man. Music was probably the media I really went to the most.
I really appreciate you two talking about some real personal things. There was some vulnerabilities that you didn't mind talking about because sometimes as doctors, right, you're supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to have all the answers. Your life is supposed to be on the right track. There's no missteps, and I really appreciate you guys just talking about, hey, look, this, I do this sometimes, I do that sometimes, and that really makes sense. What do you see right now as where are we going? And this is hypothetically, philosophically, what you guys think as professionals. Where are we going media wise with the Black and brown community, and what do you expect to see happening with your community, your clients, your customers? Naima?
Well, here in New York, we have one clinician to about 300,000 people that are in need of mental health supports.
Wow.
And there are more and more people that are filling the seats in clinical programs now. But we need people that are genuine. We need people that are willing to learn. We need people that are humble. And that's where we're going to find that we are helping more people. We want to really teach our people how to become independent in helping themselves. So my goal is to roll out this app that is going to help with that. But I want to see more people helping people instead of just trying to get money off of people. That's my goal. However, I do see more people trying to get money. Yes, we want to make money, but I do want to see more people being really genuine. That's what I want to see.
And more productive. All right. Dr. Charles, what do you see? Where do you see media going? How does that affect your client base? What do you see going on?
I mean, I think media is still in a place that it still needs a lot of positive balance. Now, the one thing I will say this, I have been seeing a wave of mental health awareness, definitely more now than I did before. And obviously, like the doctor said, you want these people who are representing these things to be real about what they're saying and be honest about their intentions when it comes to this. On the flip side of that, I'm just glad that, whether it's becoming mainstream or not, I'm just glad that it's getting awareness at this point. Obviously, when a wave comes, you're going to have people that just try to get their surfboard, wax up their surfboard and ride that wave. You know what I'm saying? That's with anything. That's with rap styles. That's with clothing. And that's even with mental health. You know what I mean? So, you're obviously going to deal with those things. I just try to flip that into the good parts because we got people like ourselves that are genuine about what we're doing. And I mean, I guess if I see progress, I see it going in a better direction. I mean, obviously, we're outnumbered in that, you know what I mean? Because anybody who pushes positivity will tell you it's the hardest thing to push.
It is. It is.
Like, period. Because, as much as people say, oh, we need this and we need that, what do they pay attention to, though?
Yeah, the negativity.
They pay attention to all the negative stuff. That's the stuff that they going to go view. That's the stuff they going to go like. That's the stuff they going to spend all their time watching. The things that are actually troublesome to their mentalities and troublesome towards their habits, that's what they're going to pay all their attention to. So I think, again, and there's nothing wrong with entertainment. I entertain myself with all kind of funny, stuff, and crazy things. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But again, balance. Balance is key. And right now, there's not enough balance.
It's not
There's not balance. Yeah,
there you go.
Not balanced right now, and it reflects.
Right?
It reflects in society. You know what I'm saying? Right. It reflects, and that's and to the point of the discussion. When you see how media is and you see how people are acting, you see how media affects people.
Exactly. So I apologize for any reports that you guys didn't get done today, for spending time with us on Hip Hop Point of View.
I'm
We
going to get them
appreciate
done.
you. Healing this gangster, Dr. Taj. If you're French, it's Dr. Taje, right?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Naima giving Hope LLC. We appreciate you as well. Anything you need, you already know. Tilsa, We Talking Magazine. We're here for you. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you for providing the platform. I appreciate that.
Have a good night.
Thank you for
All
having
right.
us. Have a good night.